Oh, hello. Welcome back, swarm of locusts. That's what these guys are at this point. My little buddy here. Oh my gosh, he's my little buddy. They're all my little buddies. But this one is my little buddy. He's never far from me. His brother's never far from me. And they're going home together, so that's awesome. Oh, Voodoo, stop humping your sister. I know I've said it before, but I'll say it again. They are not capable yet of doing anything. So trust me, if the boys were capable of doing anything, they'd already be castrated and they would already be away from the girls because they can impregnate mamas if you let them. But they're still too young. So today was a big day for me. I had to send out my go home emails on our 6 oldest kids. Oh, hi JC. Hi girlfriend. And it's kind of sad. I know they're not going home yet. I've still got at least 2 weeks with most of them. But you know, when you start to prep for them going home, it kind of is a little sad. What are you doing, mister? I know you are right here. I can't ever get a shot of your poofy head. And then my other little snuggle bug here, right here. All right, so guys, if you're new here, welcome. I'm Pam. This is Racing for Home Farm, where the animals rule the schedule and I don't keep up. Nothing here is planned. Everything is completely natural, unedited, and unscripted. We get what we get, but the animals are really cute, so they make up for it most of the time. Sometimes they're jerks. Oh my goodness. Somebody's hungry. It's breakfast time. Do you see how they are actually lifting their mom up off the ground at this point? This is what happens when the kids get to this age, and this is why moms start to wean them, because they literally get picked up off the floor. Their kids are so big. Sox tolerant. This is her first round of kids. Those 2 boys are still, young enough to be nursing, obviously, but I think she'll learn real quick that it's time to start weaning them. Right now, she lets them nurse a lot more than the other moms would let those kids nurse. Was that yummy? Num, 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 num. Yeah, lick your lips. Lick your lips. Hi, buds. Oh, right in for your close-up, huh? What are you doing? Oh, my gosh. Can you see this? Why are you climbing on me to eat my jacket? Okay, so I think I have solved all my technical difficulties, at least for the moment. I have swapped out my microphone, and it seems to be working. I've run a test now before I started recording, so I think life is good. I'm going to tell a story that I actually told yesterday twice. And so I don't know how rehearsed it's going to sound at this point or how much I'm going to forget, but we're going to try. So yesterday was vaccine day for our 4 youngest kids. They got their 2nd round of vaccines. I lie. See, it's not very rehearsed at all. They got their 1st round of vaccines. We're going to do 2nd rounds on the older kids shortly, but 1st rounds for the younger kids. And it's these 4, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4. So vaccines for little ones are so simple, right? You have a syringe, you have a needle, you draw up the vaccine, 1 little poke, depress the plunger, and boom, they're vaccinated. Really that easy. I do it all the time. I've been doing it for, 13 years now, right? And in all of my years of doing it, of vaccinating kids or even adult goats, I vaccinate them every year too. I have never experienced what I experienced yesterday. Oh, Miss Doling is being very ornery this morning. She's telling those boys where to go. So I drew up my 4 syringes. I dragged Farm Hubby down to the barn because while I can hold the kid under 1 arm and vaccinate with the other hand, it's a lot easier. Hi, guys. You right up in my grill? Hi. It's a lot easier if they are held by someone else, and then I can just boop, 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 right? 4 done, and it's over. And it's a 5-minute process. That's all it takes. Yeah? What do you think? So Madame Doling here was our first victim of the day. I had 4 syringes stuck in my mouth. Yeah, that's where they sit. And I opened up the first one. I poked her. I depressed the plunger, and I got a face full of vaccine. That has never happened to me ever. So of course, well, the first reaction was to gag a little bit. Apparently vaccines are not only not very tasty, but they're also very sticky. So I was covered, my face, my chest was covered in vaccine. Yes, it got in my mouth, so that's fun. I have tasted most goat medications. It's not unusual that a goat will spit some back in my face or, something. So yes, I mean, over the years, I've tasted wormers, I've tasted penicillin, I've tasted everything. I have never tasted vaccines. Yucca. So, at any rate, the next thing was, well, we'll say the F word. The F word, and that was more because I'm going to have to, 1, drop another whole system for her, 2, the waste, I absolutely hate that, and 3, I have to poke her again, which I absolutely hate. I don't want to poke them more than they need to be poked. So, pull out the needle. The first thing I think is, well, I must not have seated the needle correctly, but even if that were the case, it would have shot out kind of forward through the tip of the syringe and made her sopping wet, not me. So that's not it. So then I examined the syringe, and would you believe the syringe was cracked? It was completely unnoticeable. Obviously, the syringes are clear. They are, when I drew up the vaccine, there was no leakage at all. It was only when I put the pressure of depressing the plunger to, dispense the vaccine, that it took the path of least resistance, which instead of through the needle was out through this crack in the syringe. And the odds that that crack would be facing exactly where my face was, slim to nil, right? Like, it could have been facing down. It could have been facing the opposite direction entirely. It could have been facing even just a millimeter or 2 in the different direction. It would have missed my face and my mouth. But no, the universe decided I needed to taste vaccines. So, vaccinated the other 3 kids, went back in the tack room, drew up another vaccine for Miss Doling, got her vaccinated. Now, I will mention, because I think it's important, we never reuse anything, right? So, yes, obviously, I would have to replace the syringe, but even if I didn't, even if, something had happened or I dropped it on the floor, everything is sterile before I start. And we do not reuse or replace or wash anything. Every syringe is a single use, even if I'm giving oral medications. And, with oral medications, the plastic syringe, you could wash it, but I prefer to toss it and use a brand new sterile one every time. Needles, only used once, ever, never twice. The amount of degradation on a needle after a single poke is incredible. And you can't see it to the naked eye, but that point bends just enough that it's not sharp anymore. It's almost barbed because it tips over just a hair, and it's really quite microscopic. Well, everybody's itchy this morning, huh? All those coats coming in. And, oh, you're a circus goat. Hi. Hi. Hi, you want to be in my lap? You can't be in my lap today. Oh my goodness. So, needles never, ever, ever get reused. In fact, just so I'm clear on how strict I am about this, I have to draw up some of the oral medications, like ivermectin, for example, is an injectable for some animals. For goats, it's an oral, but I have to use a needle to draw that into the syringe. That needle, which obviously has only ever poked a sterile bottle of medication, could be used. Now, I had to not vaccinate, I had to worm Fanta and Emma yesterday, and that meant drawing up two sets of ivermectin, which is that injectable that needs to be drawn through a needle. And I used two different needles because, again, sterility is important, and I'm not going to remove the needle from the bottle, remove it from a syringe, place it on a second sterile syringe, because at that point the needle's no longer sterile, right? It's been exposed to air, it's pushed through the top of the bottle, which is also exposed to air. Is it likely that it got anything terrible on it? No, but why would I take the chance for the sake of a needle? So everything is always 100% fresh when it comes to that, and I think that's critical for folks to know. And it does add a little bit of expense, and it's worth every penny because, we've never had a vaccine reaction. We've never had lumps and bumps form from vaccines. We've never had a infection form at a vaccination site or an injection site. And I think a lot of that is just due to the handling of our products. So that is my funny story for the day. It was probably a whole lot funnier when I was sitting here covered in vaccine trying to tell you the story, rather than all clean and fresh on this glorious, wait, I know we're looking at baby goats, but just glorious. Look at this day. It is amazing. It's glorious. It's going to be nice and warm, but not hot. All the trees are in bloom. Things are coming back. It's glorious. So, hope you enjoyed a little laugh at my expense. And I got to get to finishing up all the chores. So, until next time, there's work to be done. Bye for now.